Hello everyone, welcome you all to Sri Lanka Spotlight by Technobiz. Welcome you all to this today's session of the Sri Lanka Spotlight. Before we start, let me quickly give you a little more information about what is this all about Sri Lanka Spotlight. This is a part of the Technobiz virtual event series. You can always check our up-to-date information on our website virtualevents.technobiz.org. Just give you some idea what is Technobiz, who is Technobiz. Technobiz established in 2005 and is recognized as International Resource Center for Industries and Technologies. You can always find more information about Technobiz at technobiz.org. We offer professional education and business services for the polymer industries and also the process technologies. You can find lots of information, useful information on our website, technobiz.org. What is the objective of Sri Lanka Spotlight? What's all this all about? Basically, we wanted to promote and disseminate the Sri Lankan expertise and innovations to the local as well as the global community. That's an ultimate objective of this Sri Lanka Spotlight program. And what kind of contents you can expect from the Sri Lanka Spotlight? And we have, like today's session, we have technical and research presentations, business and leadership conversations, innovations, patents, new products. We also talk about good practices and success stories. We also focus on the young entrepreneurs and the startups, and also we discuss on the current issues as a panel discussion which are relevant to the industry. So these are the content that you can expect from the Sri Lanka Spotlight. If you have any suggestions, to cover in this program, you are most welcome to share your input so that we can add it in the future activities of ours. So I welcome you all. And if you are missing live session, you can always watch this session on YouTube channel of the Technobiz at Technobiz 2005. That is a handle name. Feel free to check it out. I think many of the people like to review it in the record format, so it will be available on YouTube at a Technobiz channel. And you're welcome to contact me for any additional information or assistance you need from our end, or welcome to share some suggestion comments so that we can improve ourselves. I'm happy to introduce Mrs. Yugandha Piyadasa. She's based in Sri Lanka, who is a colleague of ours. So you can also reach out if you're looking for any assistance from the Technobiz. Okay, welcome you all to Sri Lanka Spotlight, and today's episode is focusing on the role of science and technology labs in building a new economic model for Sri Lanka. Our invited speaker is Mr. Chaminda Hettiarachchi. He's a co-founder, director of the Fab Lanka Foundation based in Sri Lanka. Let me quickly brief about Mr. Chaminda. I think many of you know already, but it's better to know about in details about him. He is, as I mentioned, is a co-founder and director of the Fab Lanka Foundation. It is a social enterprise based in Colombo, Sri Lanka. He's also a CEO and managing director at Dil Consultancy, a research and management consultancy company based in Colombo. He teaches project management, strategic management, and e-business as a visiting lecturer for MBA programs at University of Colombo and University of Moratuwa in Sri Lanka. Chaminda has over 20 years experience in the industry, academia, research and consultancy in 20 countries in Asia, Africa, and Europe. He has lived in Pakistan, Germany, Sweden, Spain, and Switzerland before returning to Sri Lanka in Germany. So you see, he got a global experience and exposure. Chaminda has worked as a process management consultant and worked for German multinational clients and SMEs in Stuttgart region. Chaminda has been a pioneer in introducing Industry 4.0 technologies, including a 3D printing to Sri Lankan MBA programs, national media, academia, and business communities, and at other public forums. Well, it's a pleasure to have Mr. Chaminda. You can see his credentials. It's a pleasure to know him. He got into not only a Sri Lankan experience, but also is a global experience in various issues, and he's a teacher as well. So I just asked him to give you one more talk in the future episodes of the Sri Lanka Spotlight, and he immediately agreed, and we may schedule it whenever it is convenient to him. Okay, so let's welcome Mr. Chaminda Hettiarachchi to give a talk on the role of science and technology labs in building a new economic model for Sri Lanka. You can ask the questions after the presentation. He will be discussing with him. So first we'll have a presentation. After that, we'll have a Q&A session. And also we'll have an opportunity to see his laboratory as well. So it's going to be a very interesting session today. So let's welcome Mr. Cheminda to give a talk.
Thank you, Karam. Good morning. It's almost 10 Sri Lankan time. I'm sure most of you are connected from South Asia and in Asia. So good morning again.
We have echo problem. So can you you need to shut down the speaker, yeah?
Thank you. Sorry for that. And yeah. So as Karam already mentioned, I'm going to talk about role of science and technology labs in building a new economic model in Sri Lanka. This is the work we have been doing for several years now. I'm only trying to give you some flavor of that because we have been doing a lot of work in multiple domains. So I will give you some kind of, let's say, screenshots. If you don't understand anything or if you think they are not relevant to you, it's all right, just ignore it. But we have been experimenting, trying of this work for in Sri Lanka and elsewhere for several years. Am I good to go, Karam? Yes. Okay, so as Param already mentioned, Lanka is actually not-for-profit social enterprise incorporated in 2016. However, we started our work informally in 2014. So this is like almost 10 years now. The idea was to introduce so-called industry for technologies to economic development of Sri Lanka. So when we started as a group, but without any physical facilities, but in 2017 we started our first Fab Lab Makandura, where today I'm based and you will see today. So this was started in 2017. What we mainly do is we work on different industry 4 technologies, but our main expertise is in 3D printing. Now this is our management team. As you can see, that almost all of them are Sri Lankans or Sri Lankan expatriates. Some are based in Sri Lanka, including myself. People in the right side are from Sri Lanka and others are in the US, but they are also Sri Lankan. So we are like a close group started together, friends and students, teachers. But now we have expanded. I think we are around 200 people as our total community. So our vision has been to have Sri Lanka as a globally connected makers society. Now, when Param invited me to do this session, I was very thrilled because his work is very compatible to what we are trying to do, to connect globally and transfer technology from Sri Lanka and out of Sri Lanka. So thank you again, Param, for this great opportunity, because I think in the era of Industry 4, networking and collaborations are the key. So we started with that thinking and that logic many years ago. Collaborate, technology transfer, technology inclusion, and particularly focus on social enterprises and also rural development. Now, I'm sure most of you know what is a Fab Lab, but I will very briefly explain what is the logic behind that. But since we talk about science and technology labs in general, you should know that there are many different types of labs. So labs are called in different names like Fab Lab, Makerspace, Community Centers, City Labs, or even Media Labs and Community Labs. So all these are having similar arrangements. So I will go through our particulars of a Fab Lab, but when I say SNT Labs, so Science and Technology Labs, they have kind of similar, and maybe there are some differences, but they have same purpose, same structure, same kind of arrangements. So basically, actually Fab Lab as a concept started in MIT as a way of promoting industry for 3D printing for prototyping and community building. So we picked that idea, and now actually the Fab Labs, not only in the US, but more than in, I think, 200, around 150 countries, maybe more than 2,000 Fab Labs around the world, develop for particular local purposes. So very simply, it's a typical workstation or workplace of standard capabilities, but in addition to that, it has digital manufacturing capabilities as well as global connectivity. There are other few requirements, but basically for our purpose, I will just say that it's a standard Fab Lab with digital manufacturing capabilities and global connections. Now, when we started this, when we were planning to start this, it was just actually the start of the war. Sri Lankan ethnic was completed or ended in 2009. So we have been planning how to kind of build the nation. So as some professional groups, we wanted to have technology as a key, like say, builder of communities or way of harmonizing. So we thought of having a network of Fab Labs across the country as a way of unifying divided community. So that is why we started originally started from 2014. From that, actually, we started learning the concepts and the 3D printing technology, how to collaborate over internet across the world with Sri Lankan communities and outsiders, and then build printers. We configured them. So we had a lot of planning at the beginning, and before lab, actually, we had to go and talk to many stakeholders, universities, conferences, schools, fundraising events. Also, I visited many Fab Labs in Europe, United States, to learn how to set up this. And in 2017, we set up this Fab Lab. It's called Fab Lab Makandura. It is around 60 kilometers away from Colombo. It's a suburban area. It's also my hometown. So I come every weekend to my lab where I work in Colombo. So it's a public building. This is actually a public library building, and we are based in that. So I have a very short video. Let me try to share that one. Okay, so this is we just want to show you how it looks like from outside and inside. In fact, this is actually recorded by our own project officers or members at Fab Lab Makandura. I have one today with me, Kavit Udapola, connected from Lab. I want him to give you a small tour because unfortunately today is not a working day, so it's not like very active, but he volunteered still to show you around. Kavit, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone, and I'm Kavit Udapola, project officer at Fab Lab Makandura, and I would like to show you our Fab Lab quickly. Let's go. Mainly, we have two separated parts of Fab Lab. One is doing we are teaching to the new industry 4 technologies to the students and young peoples in our area, and other part is we have a production lab like testing lab including 3D printing like new technologies, and I will show you later. So come with me. This is our meeting room and our classroom also. We are doing our sessions via the online in Google Meet, Zoom. So our main teachers came from the USA and mostly all are the Sri Lankan, but we are connecting from globally. So this is our main facility to connect the internet, and we have screens and audio interfaces for it. And let's go the other side. This is our living area. So because if I say you two, we have two separate things. Like one thing is we have a small classroom, and other thing is we have product development laboratory. So in the product development laboratory, uh, in the product development laboratory, six people are working on it. So most are the undergraduates of the universities. So we are working at every day, like 24 hours. So we have every facilities to living here. So I will show you. We have coffee makers and like small library like that. And let's go our work area. Our work area is also two parts. This is our mainly our documentation and meeting like this. We have computers, and we have a very powerful computers like for the AI and render rendering like. So we need a more computing power. So we build a computer mainframe computers for it, and these things are can use everyone in our village. So who want to learn about Blender or artificial intelligence and neural networking, they can come and make a good time for make a good time, and they can use our computers for their purpose. All is free, okay? We are not getting money, and this is our on the side. Then we have very large tables, because in this lab we are using agile methodology, because we have to adapt our product development purposes. We have to change our product development line quickly, so we are using agile methodology. And here is our core values. You can see main thing is innovation, and we are working to the target, and also we are working as a team. So, and everyone has commitment and integrity. So, and also eco-friendly. That is the main core values of our Fab Lab Markandura. And I will show you our. Let me show you our production laboratory, or our mechanical lab. Mainly we have three parts. First one is we have aircraft and drones uh, testing section. This is our drones we made from here, and mainly we are trying to make a, self controlled, self-driven drone for the agriculture and other like cargo purposes. And we successfully complete that project now. This is our one of our mm, one of our models. So we have more lot of quadcopters like this for quadcopter, hexacopter like that. And main thing is this all the parts are made from here. That is the main thing. And this is our electrical section. Little bit missing. Don't think about it. So we have soldering stations or signal generators and oscilloscopes for testing the pulses are generating wheel circuits. Mainly, I would like to show you for you. We made an inverter very cheap price because these days Sri Lanka facing energy crisis and many people are trying to make their own solar systems and be a self-sufficient. But the main problem is uh, this all the components for the solar system are very expensive. So we have to we think so if we can make solar related components, we can sell the very cheaply from the our local area users, and we can make money, and also we can make a product in the Sri Lanka. So that's the main thing. And I would like I happy to say our inverter is now very successful, and we started a new solar company um, from the Fab Lab. That is the spin-off of the Fab Lab. We registered another name to it, but mainly we are trying to solve problems in our local area, like this. And these are our machinery sections. We have a lot of uh, industry 4 technology machineries. Like I will show you. Uh, this is a 3D printer. We all know, but this printers can perform than other the like. How I say these printers can perform than normal printers because I like this printer can print multi materials, like you can print two-tone color, or you can print two types of materials like fiber and resin, like that. And we can make a composite materials, and that is the main thing because in the future we have to use to like that already mentioned the drones. Drones are must be very lightweight, so we can use in like these printers to print the parts very lightly because we have material composite materials. So that it is. And this is our laser cutting machine. We are laser cutting we are laser cut the like small metals and wooden parts, because most prototypes are we are built in like wood and small metals. Also we are using 3D printing, but the laser cutting technology is very fast than 3D printing. Like that's we are have laser cutter. And also we have new resin 3D printers. These printers are mainly using for the like jewelry and high detailed 3D prints, and these are little bit expensive, but we have one. And also this CNC, oh, I think everyone knows about CNC machine. Means we can engrave and we can lathe the metals and wood like that. But this is a good technology, but not industry for technologies. These are in earlier the industrial revolution, but we also have this machine. Okay, so that's our machinery section. I would like to show you our interesting project. We are trying to build a 1 cubic meter capacity 3D printer, but we can print not only plastics like PLA, PDG. We can print cement. That's the thing, because we can, if we can print the cement, so in the future we can make houses and like many things for the people. And the main thing, target is to make a 3D printer, and that printer can print using 3D cements. But if we success, we are trying to make a bigger 3D printer, and it can print uh, everything like a same buildings, houses like that. So that's all about our Fab Kandura. And today is not the busy day, because we all are going to the home, because today is our weekend. And in the weekdays we are very busy in here, and so many students and so many workers in here. So that is the explanation of our Fab Lab, and I would like to um, and thank to the Ms. Shaminda to give me this opportunity to show our Fab Lab. And okay, I
Okay,
will
thank you
hand.
very much. Hope you can see and hear me again. Oh, where is my screen? Sorry. Yeah. All right. So now, actually, I wanted to you to have a look at the lab, because there are two reasons. Now, Kavit joined Lanka as a student, I think 2 years ago, when he was doing his A levels. So after following his course at FabLab, he became a project officer, volunteer project officer. So they are doing this work as volunteers. Now Kavit is supposed to go to the university maybe after 2 months. So the guys who are working there as volunteers, as he mentioned, sometimes 24 hours, are all either studying in the university or going to university, or just passed out from the schools A level. So these are very young people. So we, as directors and founders, we only facilitate and help them, but they find their own local problems. We of course mentor them, but for example, they have a now very interesting project on circular economy, where they collect pet bottle, use pet bottles to build a feeder for the 3D printer. So it will also solve the plastic issue, as well as we will have our 3D printer material cost now imported from China will be sold locally sourced from recycled material. So there are very interesting such projects going on. So I want him to explain and share what they do with you. Of course, we do a lot of work. We have been doing a lot of work at FabLab, conducting classes, new product development, different projects, and also helping SMEs and other organizations on their request to solve their problems using 3D printing and other technologies. And our main, the service to the community is this, as Kavit mentioned, course on digital design and manufacturing course. It's first time in Sri Lanka where such programs are offered. We are doing this for last 3 years. Now this is like a typical structure of that. And we are doing this for free. I think now this is the fourth batch. In addition to that, we also have like some serious people collaborate across the world through the internet and try to develop new products. We use some advanced technologies on system engineering, system thinking, design thinking, and related softwares to have these projects work. These are some of these examples. I will not go into project details, but we at the moment also working multiple projects. But in addition to that, we regularly conduct awareness sessions or public outreach, especially in the rural area schools, showing them the technologies, 3D printing, virtual reality. And the interesting thing is, even though at the moment, let's say professional class in Sri Lanka is still not familiar or not comfortable with industrial technologies, these kids who are 15 to 18 or even younger are very much interested, and they are actually also knowledgeable about it. So we can easily show them and connect them and support them, because they are already interested to join careers related to these technologies. And I have been able to introduce industrial technologies also as a part of normal curriculum in Sri Lankan universities, particularly to MBA classes, particularly highlighting the impact on business of digital technologies for digital transformation. But in addition to that, in addition to lab and education, we try to also reach to different stakeholders. For example, we have been showing, demonstrating, discussing with Prime Minister's Science and Technology Task Force. We want to introduce industry to Parliament unsuccessfully, and different political parties, different conferences, national media. We try to increase awareness. This actually some years old efforts. And also, of course, we go out of Sri Lanka to share about our best practices in Sri Lanka in introducing industrial technologies. I travel to different countries whenever there is opportunity and share their expertise. Today also we do something similar. Also nationally now there has been an increased awareness and interest about digital technologies for business and manufacturing. So we are invited to talk to engineers, computer scientists, and other universities and other communities. And interestingly, I was able to do a business case on Lanka as a social enterprise. Now this is available in the case center. That's the largest case collection in UK. And that's a case written by me on Lanka Foundation as a developing country context social enterprise for using industrial technology. Of course, we did some work during COVID, and we have like annual industry for specialized, let's say, trade fair or exhibition where people can come and experience and connect with us and become permanent members of our club. This was last year, and it was really successful. And we expected about 100 people, but then more than 350 people joined the program, 2 days program. Okay, so just to brief on what we have been doing. Basically, what we have pioneered is a not-for-profit social enterprise business model for, let's say, implementing or diffusing out digital technologies across the country. So that I think we are the first to do that as a non-profit out of Colombo social enterprise. And we have actually introduced a culture of kind of collaboration as a key. Many organizations in Sri Lanka is still driven by privacy, protectionism, and competition. But we allow people to walk into our lab and talk to us, and we openly allow them to use our resources, do some free work, education, and other advising. And through that, we believe that competition, we believe innovation, entrepreneurship, even forming new ventures can be used or done more effectively in a developing country context through collaboration. And also, as you might have seen in the lab poor, our work spaces are also structured to collaborate than individual work. And so the, I think, basic idea here we highlight is project-based experimental learning for the young guys. Now, in the schools, you learn in the classroom environment or on a class school lab where you usually work or work in a imaginary or internally defined project. But here, what we advise, I'm supposed to also talk to a parliamentary MP committee on higher education. So my highlight, I mean, within next 2 weeks, will be how to use science and technology apps as a way of experimenting. Because our guys like Kavit and his team are still 20 years old. They are not even going to the university now or at the first stage, but they get all the elements of running a big business. They have a business plan, they have a business planners, write a project proposal, experiment, negotiate with the customers, fail. Sometimes they fail, but through that kind of learning, I think the real business-related, technology-related learning will be more influential than learning in the university in a conventional way and then going to industry, doing 2 years of management training or something like that, and accept the real projects. But we think if you can uh, allow them and facilitate them to do real learning in early stage, they will be more confident and more professional in early stage. And also we highlight the idea of open development. So we try to use open sources. We try to follow the values of open development, then privacy, proprietorship, and private ownership, as well as profit maximization. Through open development, that's of course global movement for open development, but we believe, particularly in Asian region, through the open development, we will be able to get the technological advance against conventional Western companies. So not only that, working with technology, working with science, particularly with the new technology, it's a fun. As you can see, people like Kavit, they are really enjoying what they do. Not they do it for money or for any other, conventional motivation, but to be a part of them, to be a community and experience their ideas as well as have some fun. So we try to develop communities, not only students but also some, let's say, 65 plus people, old housewives or conventional people who are being in other businesses of craftsmen, looks like carpentry and plumbing. They also are welcome and they also try to work with us. So it's about multiple community building in a let's say facility like a lab, but using digital technologies. Okay, yeah, so I will now go faster, but I have a lot of things to cover. Yeah, basically during last, now this is what we have been doing, but during the recent time, during last year, we were able to get a new opportunity. I'm sure some of you have heard about People's Movement in Sri Lanka, or normally commonly called as Go Home movement, where a lot of people gathered together, protest against the then president and the government and in the regime. So we actually individually we participate in those protests and some of the events, but most importantly, we saw this as an opportunity where young people who are technologically savvy, they were in the movement. So we use this opportunity and push our technology abilities of Industry 4 technologies in managing a people's movement. So we trained the activists and we demonstrated the power of technology inside in the Gota Gogama in Goldface. We conducted some training sessions to the activists, and of course we did other help like supporting them funding, making them international movement. We had some international collaborations. We conducted online sessions, but basically the idea is how to use Industry 4 technologies of running a people's movement. Some articles also written on that. But after the end of the phase 1 or Go Home movement, finished in the phase 1 where president was thrown and regime was changed. Now it's a kind of stagnated stage, but we call it phase 2 or real system change phase. Now there what we do is we work with these activists and the participants or leaders of the movement to educate them on how to do a real system change by training them on system thinking, system engineering, non-violent campaigning, and also different other skills. So that's our current stage. Now, when we started doing that, I already had the idea of social and solidarity economy as a new model for Sri Lanka, as a new economic model. It's called SSC model. It's actually a very popular push by UN task forces. I'm not a part of that, but this was opportunity for us to do real system change by changing or by transforming the way we look at Sri Lankan economy. Now, very briefly, since there are people from other countries, basically Sri Lanka is seen as a failed example of a previously successful or model colony. There are different reasons why Sri Lanka has come to that level of failure without, expected uh, success. So there are some reasons like war, corruption, poor management, but COVID-19 and of course current economic political crisis. But people's movement, Sri Lanka also demanded a real social transformation in the country for a people-friendly, poor policies. So that is why we are really interested in introducing social and solidarity economy. Now, very quickly, I do some talk on this, but today, just for our discussion, SSC is actually, it's an alternative to both capitalism or authoritarian uh, state-dominated economic system. So it's basically uh, focusing on people, individual peoples, ordinary people as economic decision makers. So everybody, in a normal market economy, they are just consumers or part of the demand function. But here, they actively participate in decision making about economical, social, cultural decision making. So they are not consumers, just consumers, but prosumers. Uh, Now, social and solidarity economy, it's not about like just distribution or not. It's not about giving things free for poor people. It's about managing or planning entire economy using those principles in all the areas like production, distribution, exchange, and governance. This is a way of kind of mapping it, but I will not go into detail. This is a new way of looking at people as center of economic planning. Now, why we want to do it? Because people's movement has actually that element, like where young people, unknown people came together to change the system and fund the country. So we think that need is really defined by a social and solidarity economy, because we don't want to go back to export growth economy or tourism-based conventional way of doing business Sri Lanka. We need a new way of looking at economy. This is kind of satisfied by SSC, powered, of course, by digital technologies. Now, we also have a history of SSC, even though many people don't know. We have a very old traditions of sharing cooperatives and not for profit, like not profit maximization style economic modeling in Sri Lanka. The only thing is we want to systemize it. That's why we say it's a very compatible and even local way of looking at Sri Lankan economy. Now, science and technology can be like a key driver of these models, economic effective model using Industry 4 technology. Again, I will not go into details, but the idea is if you look at UN Sustainable Development Goals, using Sub Lab as a model or any science and technology lab can try to reach many labs. Now, some of these SDGs are listed here, what we do, but based on, like, say, if it's practice in Kathmandu, it's a different priority. If it is in Dhaka, that can be different. But the idea is labs can do a real fast forwarding way of reaching industry multiple sustainable development goals. Through that, it can have a new way of managing the economy of solidarity economy. Of course, there are many challenges, factor awareness, technological issues, and also these are not yet known by the policymakers. Also, running uh, this kind of arrangement or platform as a non-profit has a some kind of limitation. Whereas if you started industry for technological venture as a profit business, maybe it would have be very successful. But we believe that eventually those challenges can be overcome. So as what I want to tell you is that we need a strategic thinking and long-term focus if you want to work with digital technology in a developing country. Yeah, so timing is key now. We take this COVID-19 and then economic crisis, people's movement are part of our planning ground. So I think we consider it the mass opportunity than weakness. So basically, we actually push the idea to the public and to the policymakers that we need to have a science and technology lab, network of science and technology lab or innovation centers across the country. Not only we run, but different people can do it. Of course, we can help them, but that way we can encourage innovation. We can look at local problems in each district or village or province and then try to solve them using local expertise and local resources, but through national and international collaboration driven by digital technologies. So, to summarize, we have been, having a lot of problems during last 30 years in Sri Lanka, war, bad policies, but we also have some potential higher education, early stage, and then better human capital. So we need to streamline them. We need to have a business model, economic model to maximize well-being of the society, not just to get as FDI, not just to attract foreigners as tourists, but people, Sri Lankan society should be the priority in terms of making economic planning. And there is now a need, and there has been a demonstration that we can do it now. When the people's movement started, people thought, no, it's not going to do anything. But the young guys coming together, not knowing each other, but just as Sri Lankans, they were able to remove a very powerful president and entire regime. So if they can do it, we come together, harmonize or harness our expertise. We can also redefine and have a new way of economic performance, economic planning for the well-being of the people of the country than just profit maximization. Therefore, it's important that we come together, we co-create. We should not do it as a group or as an organization, but we should do as as a society to co-create integrated social and solidarity economy to move forward as a inclusive and economically prosperous society. So in terms of Lanka as a science and technology organization who are running and who are experienced in all element of this, rural development, youth empowerment, technology diffusion, industry creation. So we are very much happy to push with our expertise and knowledge and of course our interest to mainly to achieve the sustainable development goals for Sri Lanka. And as we have seen in other countries, they use different approaches, but the same technologies to achieve different sustainable development goals. So we at the moment are small in size and scale, but we believe that we have seen that actually there's a demonstration effect, and other people are also now trying to duplicate or expand our model of working with technology for social development. However, there are some awareness issues and capital issues, different other issues are there, but we are working on with those issues. But as I mentioned to you, and as we have demonstrated, keeping the long-term focus, solve the implementation challenges one at a time, and rely on people's power and knowledge. We call it wisdom of the crowd approach. We always look at people around us to find solutions and even formulate problems. And to that, we believe that industrial technologies can create as a way of solving um, social and economic issues faced by a small country like Sri Lanka. Okay, so before closing, I just want to throw some questions, maybe discussion, or for you to think, and also come back to me to ask. So, what are your opinions about how you can or how a country can use science and technology lab? Can be Fab Lab, Makers Lab, Innovation Lab, or any other such arrangement in solving economic problem, not just industrial problem or companies problem. Now, we think Sri Lanka has a lot of potential, or Sri Lanka has a lot of. It's a test case for building a social and solidarity economy as going forward for of course, a developing country, but to have a peaceful and democratic society. So, what do you think? It's a good idea, or do you think Sri Lanka should follow something else, some different path? How can industry for technology, in your view, can help in that process? And what are the practices you know in other countries? Can be, I don't know, Finland or Estonia or some African countries, some Latin American small countries, or even countries in the north or Asian countries. Do you know any such practices or best practices? We are happy to share with you and learn from you. Any suggestion are welcome, because ours is something in work in progress. We learn, we make mistakes, but we are moving slowly, and we believe that we are in the right direction. But of course, we can still modify and revise our way of work. Of course, you can learn about our work and what we do at the moment. What I presented to you maybe 2 months old, but we are also into new projects now. Please visit our website or Facebook page or other social media and contact us through the email. Thank you very much. Over to you, Karav.
Thank you very much, Chaminda. Wow. I want to tell you first, you are my role model now. I'm really inspired, really very inspired the way the work you are doing, and particularly for the youth development and rural development and engaging the young. I see the energy of the Kavit. Okay, he's very young, 21 some years old, and he's so proud about what he's working on it. And at the same time, the energy levels, you need this kind of energy into the younger generation. And it's very pleased to know about this Fab Lanka. And man, cool. It is really good work that you are doing. And actually, I want to understand first, what made you to get into this one? Any sparks you got?
Okay.
Or you see the troubles, or you see the things how the country is moving. You are a true Sri Lankan, a true patriot. The way you are basically involved in the part of the development of the country for the better conditions for the poor, for the younger generation. Or we talk about the next generation. So what is your trigger? What's the trigger point? At what point you've been travel all over the world, and then and back to Sri Lanka? Yeah, please.
So thank you for that question, Karav. Actually, I have not done anything very different than what other Sri Lankans want to do. Everybody want to do, in standard conventional way, help the country. When you were young, we always do the answer, you want to be a good citizen. But I think the key thing is, I had the opportunity to go out of the country, right, early, and then also not to one country, to different places, from Pakistan to Sweden. So it's a different portfolio. So then I learned, strengths of Sri Lanka and weaknesses of our people and opportunities we have in a more, let's say, objective manner. So I realized, then I should come back. I came back to Sri Lanka in 2004 from Germany. And then, of course, as a local, you always have local challenges in a developing country. People say it's difficult, you can't change that, but all these things. But since I have that other experience also, I have determined to do my best to contribute. And I have maybe 10 years I stopped celebrating my own success. I don't really care about the victories or achievements or whatever I have now, even though sometimes I get awards and things like that. But I try to measure my success based on people like Kavi, how confident they become, how happy and how you know achieve they celebrate their achievements. So as a teacher, that has always been my motivation. But now I have a working model. I will always show my students, my younger generation, as this is my achievement. So that's like a very natural way of going forward in career life. But very interestingly, I started this maybe 10 years ago. Now we are in 50s. Now I get a lot of people who have gone to other countries. There are more than 2 million Sri Lankan away from Sri Lanka. So almost every month I get somebody's request, can we do something like that? Can we start a vocational training? Can we do something in my own hometown? So we are very happy to collaborate. So a lot of people are coming back to help Sri Lanka. Maybe they lost that. So I think, in brief, I think I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. So that's all. I invite others to also to do think about it openly internally, and we can help you to start.
Yes, very much true. And I think it's not awards, it's a true change that you want to see that makes you so happy, right? And I think that people like Kavit is an example. Yeah. You talk a little bit about the political people, because it's see this kind of things you want to make a change. It's not one person, you're not 10%. You need a system to be changed. And of course, the political system is very important, play important role in making the development of the country. How is the response from when you have engaging conversation with these politicians? And I think you guys had turbulent times with all kinds of things, And so, what was your experience?
Yeah, so it's a different experience, and every day I get a lot of different feedbacks. But my position is that now you have seen people's rage. People came to streets. They, hated the people whom they vote in millions. Now, if this can happen on the ground in a middle income country, right? Supposed to be a friendly, decent, nice country in South Asia, right? I'm sure you have already experienced that. So nobody is safe. Nobody is proof unless we do correctly. So what we are trying to do is now Sri Lanka also has a very violent history, right? Everywhere. So conflict, LTT, JVP, Sri Lankan governments, war crime allegation. Now, so that's what I say. Economic crisis, COVID, and people's movement gave us opportunity to rethink, reflect on ourselves. Now, if we don't come together and if we don't do acceptable way of progressing, planning, working together, there's no chance. We had few chances after COVID tsunami. We also had a chance. We missed that. After war, we had that chance. We missed it. So I'm saying this is a new opportunity. We can come together and rebuild the nation by working together. Now, in doing that, now if you just go to one side, you will be enemy of other group. Now, in that case, I'm saying now people movement can be very violent next time. Here it was non-violent, dominantly non-violent. So my role, or what I do is try to keep the non-violence as a dominant way of planning for the next system change process. At the same time, it's opportunity for policymakers, government, politicians also to encourage non-violent way of rethinking, rebuilding system change in a positive way than allowing the extreme forces to take over. So that's my way of doing that. Of course, there are pros and cons of people's the opinion. But as you say, I have seen how Berlin was built after collapse. I have seen Pakistan and India fighting in Kashmir. So likewise, Northern Ireland. So I have been to those places to see how they manage or how they at least settle. So therefore, I think I have some kind of a credibility in terms of making my claim. But of course, depending upon how many people are going to accept that. But I try in my own way. So
Well, let me invite Dr. Sisira Ranatonga. He's also actually he's the initiator of this program, Sri Lanka Spotlight. So let's welcome him to give a, maybe certain discussion points. Sisira, please, Dr. Sisira.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think very interesting. I think, Chaminda, thank you very much because
You
you are
want to open
taking
the
this.
camera too?
Sorry,
Camera. You like to open the camera?
you can manage, no? Okay, you can hear me, no? You
Yeah.
will give me a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Chavinda, thank you very much because today Sri Lanka is for a totally different direction, which is very live. And thank you very much for giving this and accepting our invitation and taking this into the different direction, which is the needs of the hour. Yes, I think we as volunteers, I think I also, whenever possible time, we are contributing the Paplanka Foundation. I think this is one of model really working, especially in the rural area, and also transforming this knowledge to the school level. I strongly believe that if you want to change the system, so yes, we have to start from the school. So that's what Chaminda and entire team is doing. And also, I would like to just ask some few questions. So with working with the all this movement, so what will be the next of steps?
Next.
Step to change the
Yeah.
system.
So this is a very, people's movement is a very vast, broad, and complex process. So we never know what's going to happen next. But my, focus, or at least my contribution, will be training the activists, because activists, they are very brave, they are very passionate. But when it comes to running a system, they are not capable, because these are young guys, 20s, maybe late 20s maximum. They are like my students' age. When I talk to them, they are very passionate. They want to break the system now, but when we ask about construction, they are very good in disruption, right? But construction on building things, they need expertise, they need time, and they need patience. So I would say three things: non-violent discipline is very important, strategic planning, and expertise. Building expertise can be on innovation, managing businesses, governance, a lot of even campaigning, maintaining a campaign. But so I think we as educators, we as senior professionals, we should push them for more education, more skill development. This is not based on what I thought, but like even in after uh, Bolshevik Revolution 1917 Russia, actually Lenin invited Frederick Taylor to train scientific management in Soviet Union. So if we have not got any sustainable success as people's movement or people's success. But even if we get, we need to hurry and train people on scientifically managed professions and skills. That's, I think, should be the focus. Take
Yeah,
time.
thank you. I think you came to the very good point today. Objective also how the science and technology can be used for the system change. So we as professionals and through this Sri Lanka spotlight, so what do you suggest for us to take the next step?
You mean for the technobies, or we all together, or in general?
Through this program, how we can help to country to change the system through the science and technology?
No, I think already Technobase Dharam is doing the exactly same thing. That's what I said at the beginning. Because he is I don't know how to call it, spotting light on Sri Lanka. It is very important because Sri Lanka is in in many international news channels or persons very negative. There's no country without food, or people are protesting on the street, and everything bad. But what he's doing is a really good thing, and also we are not as bad as other people pursue. Because I know this also not for Sri Lanka also. For example, I lived in Pakistan. It's a great country, lot of potential, a lot of resources, very smart people. But if you look at CNN or BBC or something, in Indian channel, it's like a extremely bad society. But likewise, I know that's also applicable to Sri Lankans or Sri Lanka. So I think we have to ready our message correctly. It doesn't mean that we have bullshit like we are the best country, most beautiful. No, those are like old trap of tourism or in a very similar trade. But we have to be honest, truthful, but tell our story to the world and collaborate with them. That's the key word I have been highlighting. Collaboration at all levels with professionals like Peram, organizations, and other countries. One thing also missing is actually regional collaboration in South Asia, because we have great neighbors, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Regardless of all the problems we have, working together as a region, South Asia, of course, with connection to East Asia and Middle East. But we have to keep our houses keep in order and tell the story to other people. So I think that's the way we should go.
Shaminda, I'd like to ask touch on that, university collaboration, because the young blood is in the university, right? So how do you see Fab Lanka and university collaborations?
Okay, that's I do in a very tricky way, because I have two hats, like a university lecturer. So I use that to network many universities. In fact, I'm the like a education ambassador for Germany in Sri Lanka. So we try to have this Erasmus Mundus DART funding or proposals as collaborative work. I just completed one University of Columbia and Graduate School on virtual learning for higher education. And also they are in the process of another proposal, University of Kuhuna, Beradini, and another university in Africa, and German university. So there I use my university kind of higher education professional approach. But Blanca is always, as you mentioned, the model for real practice. So if they now, for example, IoT in agriculture, that's what we do it here. So when the university want to have in a bigger way curriculum, we say, why don't you come and work with us and do a small project with us, and then they can start there. So there are multiple ways of collaboration, but we actually do it. And I think in Sri Lanka, the universities have a big capacity for system change. Of course, they have changed themselves to some extent, but they have resources, capacity, and they have seen the world. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about your, the Fab Lanka programs that you have courses? You mentioned about 3 different courses that you offer. It's a free for the people, and particularly, how is the response? How there lots of students or the young people are joining, and yeah.
Yeah, when we started in 2017 or 18, it was difficult for us to get 10 people. So what we did was ask force people to come, like relatives, neighbors. That's how we collected 10 people, and then big dropout. I think at then there were about 3 or 4 who finished. Supposed to be 6 months, but we extended now to 9 months. Now it goes up to 1 year. But then after this, awareness, when we went to television and we have this new lab, now there's a big demand for those courses, but we have limitation based on number of computers and facilities we have. So we take 10 people per batch, and some online. Now, so we know it's not enough, but we want to actually fine tune our model. But important thing is, now I'm actually thinking about public program, maybe for fee for outside people, working professions on digital transformation management or digitalization. Also, I'm supposed to introduce a digitalization master's, of course, to MBA level as a part of my DART project I carried out. So different ways. That's a big opportunity, because digitalization is now only they are picking up by the universities, at least private universities. So even if you can help, we can run a course on digitalization, digital transformation management, or adaptive industry for technologies. I'm looking at all the courses available from MIT to other places. There's a big demand, and now we have to look at arrangement. Should we do this along with the university, or we should do it now? Fab Lanka is also awarding body as a vocational training, but we don't have any formal recognition, like we call it national vocational qualification, NVQ or something. We are also looking into being compatible with that. But yes, there are demand at industrial level, but our focus is mainly SME and individual guys. But now we have sufficient demand, and we try to improve and expand it outside.
Are you planning to, kind of expanding your footprint with as a chapters, as a centers in a different parts of this country. I think the message has to come, had to spread around, and only can happen only physically you are there. I mean, it means that there is an organization there, or a rural organization, or this may be kind of chapters. So do you have some plan like that, or what?
Yeah,
Of course, you
actually,
need funds, you need money.
no, no,
Yeah.
we have this in our original business plan written in 2017. Have a network of 5 lakh across the country, right?
Oh.
But it was not successful. It was after running one 5 lakh, we realized how capital intensive that is, and also managing operations as well as introducing into some other place by ourselves is very difficult. But we still try to have a mobile fab lab which can drive. There are fab labs also in vehicles like truck. That also we didn't get funding for that, but we applied several times. But now our approach is there are two types. One is we demonstrate. People come to us now asking, "I want to have a fab lab in Ratnapura. Can you help us?" Of course, we are doing it. Not only that, but also there are people from Pakistan and Bangladesh also ask me the same question, and some African countries. So that's one way we try to help them, whereas they do it in terms of investment and other things. That's one possibility. But now we have been very greedy with collaboration with the government, because this year, government promoting the idea of AI, STEM education, but we know government only do this for the television. But at least if we can hook with them, we can, through them, because they are government in Sri Lanka is very, very, I would say, resourceful. So if they won't do it, they can do it. I don't know whether they wanted to do honestly, but that's a possibility. If you can show them this is a good model, they can copy it, and we are open for being copied. That's good. So these are the expansion plans.
And so you said that there are a lot of people coming to you and asking to cooperate or collaborate to do something for their own villages and things like that, right? So they could be part of your Lanka Foundation, yeah, yes, Fab Lanka Foundation, yeah, right?
No, yes, actually, of course, but they don't even have to be part of us. They can. Now we have something called charter. We have some values. It's openness and non-profit orientation, blah blah blah. So they can, if we are compatible with the values, we can help with them, to them, and then they can do it their own. But they can also collaborate with us, or they can have us as a partner, or partner, and also do it. So the multiple ways. Now we are actually like Facebook. We don't generate content. They do it. We facilitate the platform. So, and we have shown it that we can do it with a small investment, small group of people, but build a working model. I think some policymakers have already acknowledged that. And now, because of this government changes and everything, we don't try to, reach to politicians directly. But that was our original plan. But then government changes and everything. We thought better to have a small unknown venture finish, then they go and negotiate. Otherwise, this become also politically, affiliated thing or something like that. But we are very open for collaboration and partnership for expansion.
I think it's required, for, you need to join hands with all the like-minded people and organizations. Of course, problems are there with the politicians or government organizations. There not everyone be like that. Some, you always look for the, like-minded people to work together, just like, like people like Dr. Cicero and all the like-minded people, and wanted to help the country to grow for the better for everyone. Okay, and we don't need to look through all the bad side of it, but look into the positive light. So you mentioned very nicely about the social and the solidarity economy, and it looks pretty much ideal if everybody follows it. At the best model everybody should follow. So far, in terms of awareness about this model, like SSE model, how do you see, what kind of how much awareness been spread it among the people, or even your political network? Yeah.
Okay. Can you allow me to share the screen? I want to show you a paper I have written on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's still on you, on your, yeah, you can share. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see
Okay.
the URL
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, this is few years ago. I presented this. This actually there's a UN Solidarity and Social and Solidarity Economy Task Force, right? I'm a part of them as a consultant. I don't know how to call them. So I wrote this paper showing or highlighting how Fab Labs can implement sustainable development goals in building a social and solidarity. This is actually before people's movement. I presented in 2019 in Korea. Yeah, 2019. So there I have explained based on the concept of social and solidarity economy, how you can use FabLab as a way of doing it. You can download this paper. Meantime, also I will show you this case study. If anybody is interested, you can go to this case center website and uh, download, or you have to buy it about how to use social, social enterprise. Tablanca as a social relation developing country context. It's also discussed as a business case. So yeah, so this is the. I know it's not very much known or very it's public, but it's a new development because across the world there's a movement or interest towards not so profit maximization. Conventional capitalism is kind of hated, particularly due to climate change and other so-called negative issues. But people are not interested in becoming socialist countries or state-centered. So therefore, this becomes a viable way of managing economy in a profitable manner, or it's in a sustainable manner, I would say. So therefore, along with sustainable development goals, if you can redefine what is a business entity, it's not to profit maximize, but to maximization of well-being or maximization of a particular social factor. There are a lot of practices I have seen in Germany, Spain, United States, India. Uh, Also, I want to highlight first time I learned this concept of social entrepreneurship, the original question you asked at the beginning. In 2003, I studied in Spain as a master student, peace and development study. Then I learned about social entrepreneurship, and I learned about this Ashoka network. Have you heard of that? It's an Indian base. It's a social enterprise. It's a hugely successful gathering of social entrepreneurship. So they have used Ashoka, King Ashoka's name to highlight the history or heritage of social orientation of the king. So I think it's around us. Sarvodhi in Sri Lanka is a well-known successful model of economic uh, way of running the society using non-profit orientation. So there are a lot of opportunities, cooperative movements, any other way. But the advantage now, or the new dimension, is availability of amazing digital technology. So if you can mix AI to a cooperative, you can do large wonders of what we couldn't do 50 years. So I would invite everybody to think about what are the available ways of creating wealth, value creation in non-conventional way while doing something good to the society. So that is viable, and we are trying to do it anyway.
Yeah, it's very important to utilize the technology, and currently, it's fast growing, fast developing technologies, and it makes your things life easier. Dr. Sisra, come back again. So any final remarks, any comments, or you would like to discuss with Chaminda?
Yeah, thank you. I think one more just to take this discussion, because time is constrained, but of course this is not the end. Say no, we are working with the last couple of years with the the United Corruption Movement, where we are in the process of changing the country to using the you very correctly mentioned we have very good professionals and talented, but we see about 1 million population, that is about almost 10% or maybe about 5% of the population is so silent. So how will we wake up and change the system?
I don't know. You are the political guy. I don't know. We talk to people who are already awake. We don't try to wake up. It's all of the activists or the people's movement like you. But if they are awaken, we can teach them or educate them or guide them to have a better collaborative work. So now you are right. Waking up people is difficult, but also people who appear like they are sleeping, it's very difficult to wake them up. So because they are not really sleeping. So that's a challenge. That challenge has been always there in Sri Lankan politics, particularly so-called social politics. I also tried to do it maybe 20 years ago, but I don't anymore waste my time. But I do things, and I want to show them some when they are awake. I will show them what is happening there, and then maybe they can do it. So you tell me how to wake people up.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, one way of
What?
doing, I think, through the technology. That's what I think we have given this opportunity to take our professionals who are basically working in the out of the country. They have huge knowledge of, other problem what we face is the, the brain drain, which is one of highest country in the world. So how we are going to keep this, the knowledge and use this knowledge to develop the country? I think that is the audience who are basically watching this, and also we are inviting through this program also, please come up with your new ideas, think out of box, and give us the way forward, because we strongly believe the system change is needed, and that's the only way that because we have a lot of resources as a country. Let's take this opportunity and convert these resources into the output or a product or a service. Yeah, we can, I think, change this country. That I think we have the very good confidence. So everything depends on the people how work together and take this into the right script. Thank you.
I think Cicely, you mentioned a very important thing. What we are also working with that idea that now we don't define Sri Lanka as a geographical location. It's not the island nation in South Asia. That's the original definition. We define Sri Lankanness as our operating scope. So there are, let's say, 22 million people spread across the country. More than 2 million people are out of the country. They have a lot of resources, expertise, knowledge, and affiliation with Sri Lanka. And maybe, as you said, there are more people going. So we don't consider it as a negative actually. We think it's a way of life. People move, people go for economic reasons, some other reasons. But we consider them as our broader Sri Lanka or broader community. So we work with them through digital technologies. We travel to those places and they come to us. So, and also it's not really big issue anymore with technologies like this to work collaboratively. And I think when we redefine Sri Lanka or Sri Lankanness is more broader, fluid global community, I think that's how they define diaspora. Idea of diaspora comes to the dispersion, who originally actually Jewish spread it over the world after the German so-called, I don't know how to call it. Anyway, so before Israel, so if they define Israel or something as a global thing, we can do the same thing. We have the same dynamic. People out of the country, more knowledgeable people out of the country, more than in the country. So why don't we consider them all as equal people in planning and taking decisions and even voting? And then I think we should not see them even as a problem. Like people going out, it's not a problem as far as some way if they can collaborate, spending money, expertise, or even working together come when they need, and we can go those places. So I think we have to think about the platform also, the platform not just as a geographical location. So it's a very important point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the platform, I think. Mr. Peram, thank you, because this is the platform. Sri Lanka Spotlights, we just started with the innovation, but innovation is not just only the product innovation. Let us take all this into the consideration, and we are very keen, and we are very basically having got big goals to take this program virtually across the world. With that, I think this is a global event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sisira and Chaminda. Really wonderful session today. It's eye-opening, and I learned. And as I said, you are one of my role models now in terms of this, as a social enterprise. And what you're doing is good, man, and keep doing more, okay? And inspire others. I think we need, more Chamindas, okay? One Chaminda is not enough. Okay, so everywhere, create this like-minded people, inspire them, and as you are, it's not about the money. You are not a greedy. I think you had enough. Okay, and so keep doing good work, sir. It's a really wonderful session. I learned from you today, and special thanks to Kavit. That is the future of the country. People like him are the future of the country, and inspire those young people more and more. Then of course, once the people change, the government is created by the people. People change, government changes. So we don't need to look at a government as a problem. Basically, I look at it as a people's understanding, people values are the problem. Okay, and Dr. Caesar is saying how to awaken them. Throw the cold water, then suddenly wake up, and and until who throws the cold water is the thing, right? But the point is that this kind of social enterprise makes a big difference in the younger generation and as well as rural development. We always look in urban development. We would always talk about Colombo, or we talk about Mumbai, Bangkok, cities. Cities does not represent the country. Basically,
Right.
the rural, the cities you can count together. It's a very small area. Okay, but I think that what your service to the Sri Lanka is commendable and very valuable, important, and I wish to see more people like you come forward and join hands with you and develop the country forward. So with that note, thank you very much, Chaminda. I really enjoyed the conversation and presentation today. Thank you very much. Sorry,
Thank you very much, Mr. Yeah. Ciao. Bye.
bye. Okay, guys, that's the end of the session. With Chaminda Hettiarachchi, is a co-founder and director of the Fab Lanka Foundation. He spoke on the role of science and technology labs in building a new economic model for Sri Lanka, and this is today's Sri Lanka Spotlight. I'm really hoping that you find the session useful and get inspired. People like Sri Lanka we need, and we need more people like him. So please do contact him. They have wonderful programs for young youth particularly, and they should get involved with the Fab Lanka Foundation. And I think he has given you the website information, the social media links. So please do connect with Chaminda and his team at Fab Lanka Foundation. Thank you all for joining this session today. And I see you in the next episode of the Sri Lanka Spotlight. Try to inspire, we get one more inspiration and from the next episode. Thank you all. Bye bye for now.